guys, Marco here, and in today's video I want to talk about a topic that I get asked all the time, which is finding the right products to sell in your Google Shopping campaign, or probably also Google AdWords in general. Well, when you compare Google AdWords or Google Shopping to Facebook, there are some big differences and some things that you really should keep in mind, because else you're keeping keeping the same old product research process, looking for the same kind of products, and they won't work that well on Google, or they won't work at all on Google the way they did on Facebook. So keep watching, and I will be sharing 5 great tips to find the right product to sell on Google AdWords as well.
I grew tired of that. I grew eyes on my back. They drew iron when I drew rhymes. So who's firing back? Told myself, keep your mind on them rats, knowing damn well this shit's.
Alright, so the first one is super important, and this is having higher margins and selling more expensive products. It's pretty normal if you sell a Facebook product for like $10 or $15, and you can get things like people to comment and share and tag their friends and get more sales and go viral. This is something that you don't have on AdWords. So on AdWords, you really should sit down. This is my ad. This is how many people I can reach with it. And you should calculate if this makes sense. If a product for like $15 makes sense. Because if you do the math, and let's say you spend 50 cents per click at a 2% conversion rate, you would have to get 100, so with 100 clicks you pay $50, which means you only get 2 sales for $50, and your item costs $15. So you see already that this doesn't make sense. So you have to get your CPC down, or you have to increase your conversion rate, or you have to go with higher priced items. And this is normally a very good idea with Google AdWords, because people are looking for this product already, and they tend to not care that much if it's more expensive or not. So with Facebook, I know it's super difficult selling like $200 items. At least it's way more difficult than cheap ones. On AdWords, the difference is much smaller. So I can just recommend to try with higher priced items as early as possible, and then see how it goes for you and how to improve. The second tip is actually very similar, and this is about when you go with high priced items. It is very useful, very powerful to stay in categories where even the lowest priced version of this item is still expensive. So there are all kind of product types where you have items ranging from like $10 all the way up to $2,000. And if you compete on Google Shopping against all these people, like one is 50, one is 200, one is 400, and then there's you for 2,000. Of course, there are these people looking for a luxury version of something. But in general, the way it goes is that people check out all your competitors before they check out yourself, because they were all that much cheaper. So a very good idea is to stick in industries or niches where even the lowest item is already a high ticket item. So if you are in an industry where, for example, these famous hoverboards that were trendy for quite a while, I think you cannot find one of these for less than, let's say, $150, right? So you cannot find one of them for less than $150, which means even if you are priced at 200, it is still considered normal. So if you then show up on shopping along all these different people, you know that you don't have to compare on price, so you can then put all your energy in creating a great image for your shopping ad, coming up with a cool description and all these things, titles, optimization, but you don't have to worry about showing up next to a person that is just 10 times cheaper and that is just stealing away your sale, basically. So the third tip is that you should spend more time looking into the competition of your individual products and niches, rather than waiting for this one winner all the time. So on Facebook, many people go ahead, they look at Alibaba or AliExpress for ages, they come up with a few products they want to test, and they just give it a try. With AdWords, you can actually make it way more streamlined. So for example, let's say you come up with a list of 100 items that you think you might be able to sell. What I then recommend is that you just go ahead into the keyword planner and you spend your afternoon checking these 100 items in terms of competition, recommended CPC bid, volume, total search volume, and these things. And by doing so, you will find out which of these products are easier and which are harder to target. So an item which costs $30 and has an average CPC bid of like $2 and is very competitive is of course way harder to sell than a $100 item with just medium competition and fairly low CPCs. So this is something where I recommend you spend quite a lot of time in bringing your products together into a list, and then checking one by one in the AdWords keyword planner, how can I attack which product. And then probably this list goes down from 100 to, let's say, 20 products. out of these 20 products, you really then do a shopping campaign where you target first these 10 and then the other 10, and you really find out what works for you, and then you build on that and get more and more product tested and of course scaled. But it's a way better use of time going into the keyword planner and finding out what the individual products look like from a competition point of view, rather than always looking on AliExpress for the best and newest product out there. The fourth one is that on AdWords you can definitely consider selling boring stuff that is not necessarily emotionally driven. So with Facebook you always hear the term sell something that is very emotional, sell these impulse products that people just buy out of an impulse. But on AdWords it's a little bit different, because people made up their mind already. They don't have to be really much convinced to buy something. Of course you still have to convince them with your copy and your landing page and stuff, but they already decided that they wanted to buy a product like yours. So the product can be a little more boring. It can be a little more usual. Of course, it is probably not the best idea to sell the most basic items on the planet, right? To start selling phone electronic, like loading cables for phones, chargers, or things like that, which you can find everywhere. But still, you may sell all kind of stuff. Like I literally know people who have successful stores selling things like frying pans or stuff where you normally think this doesn't make sense at all. But if you can combine it with a cool landing page with some great appearance and things like that, you can also sell much more boring products where you normally would say, no, this is definitely not something that I can sell successfully. So keep this in mind. Don't always be on the look for the next great, amazing, out-of-the-box thing. Rather think about, like I said, competition, search volume, and the average bids. And the last tip that I want to give you today, the fifth tip, is that you should think in categories when you do product research. So if you want to sell a product, it can be very useful to actually look for like 3, 4, 5 products that are very similar, just so that you can give people actually some kind of selection. So if you're selling an item and you get people to your store, what you can do is either have a very, very small collection or very small category with these 5 items, or you can then at the bottom of your product say, people who bought this also bought, or here you may also like this, and then you list the 4 similar products, because this way you can basically test a product. And instead of just, risking that someone who doesn't like the product will go back and never come back, will click the back button and never get back to your store, you say, well, you didn't like this product, here are 5 other products that are very, very similar, and people have another choice and you give it another try, maybe they like one of these. So let's say normally 90% of people would leave your store immediately because they didn't like the product. Now it's probably only like 80 or 70% who leave your store because they have this other highly related products that they may find more interesting. So of course, this tactic doesn't work if it's totally unrelated, right? If you sell a gaming mouse here, and then you may also like, and then there is some baby socks or so. So it should be very, very closely related. It would be the best if it's pretty much the same product, just like a different design, different size or whatever. But doing this will definitely increase your overall conversion rate, and will reduce your bounce rate as well. So guys, these were my 5 tips on product research with Google Shopping or AdWords compared to Facebook. I hope that you learned something of value here today. We on this channel, we're talking about e-commerce, dropshipping, and now recently a lot of Google AdWords. So if you want to learn more about any of these topics and some other more marketing related stuff, then please subscribe. Please leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and as always, check out the eCom PPC Academy in the description if you want to really step up your AdWords game and sell more products than ever before. So I really hope that I will see you in this program or welcome you in the next video of this channel. Either way, take care. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and bye-bye.